Welcome to A Moment in the Word, a weekly study from the King James Version of the Holy Bible. Brought to you by Living Word Bible Church, United Kingdom.
I'm reading today from Psalm 62, beginning at verse 5. My soul, wait thou only upon God, for my expectation is from him. He only is my rock and my salvation. He is my defense. I shall not be moved. In God is my salvation and my glory, the rock of my strength and my refuge is in God. Trust in him at all times, ye people. Pour out your heart before him. God is a refuge for us. I'm entitling this message, The Discipline of Waiting. What is the discipline of waiting? Well, it's the need to slow down, to take a pause, to come ye apart and rest a while. There's a need for this in today's generation, in the world that we live in that is moving so fast. I mean, people often say that it seems like the days are getting shorter. Days just seem to disappear. Actually, the days aren't getting shorter. Otherwise, our clocks would be wrong all of the time. Time is constant, never changes. I know scientists say, oh, there's a microsecond every 100 years. The Earth is rotating slower. I'm really not interested in that because it's insignificant and it has no impact upon our daily lives. In fact, let's face it, they could be absolutely, totally wrong in their estimation. And who's going to be around in 100 years' time to figure out, was this microsecond, millisecond, nanosecond of time depleted from the Earth's rotation around the sun? Who knows? But what I'm saying here is that we have a problem in today's world. The problem is instant response. We want it now. In fact, really, we want it yesterday. You hear people when they're chanting along the road and they're on a protest. What do we want? We want such and such thing. When do we want it? We want it now. In fact, they want it yesterday. This is the way life is today. It's so instant. We want everything instant. And look at it. We got instant coffee, instant mashed potato, instant, you can go on with all the instants. See the packaging in the supermarket, instant this, instant that, instant the other. People don't want to wait anymore. As you know, I may have said this before, I bake my own bread. And people have said to me, oh, do you use a machine? I've never had any good results from a bread making machine in the past. In fact, we don't have one anymore. It takes time because you've got to do it all by yourself instead of sticking all the ingredients in a machine, and it doesn't come out that great anyway. So people want everything right away. When you pick up the telephone to phone someone, and when we have a problem with our local doctor's surgery, you can never get an appointment. It takes ages to get through on a call waiting on the telephone. You're number 37 in the list and so on. Anyway, We want everything now. We're impatient. Modern communications, the way the system works today, it encourages quick replies with very little thought. I mean, I'm the type of person, I don't like telephone conversations. I prefer not to have them. Of course, you've got to sometimes, but I have a dread about talking with an official on the telephone. For me, it's quicker just to type a few words out in a text message. That's my preference. I've never really liked the telephone anyway, but the world is a quick response. An email is obviously quicker than a normal letter. It'll take a few days to get to its destination. An email is there instantly. A text message is there instantly. And of course, it's reduced now to right down now to emojis. I mean, where are we going to go next? And the idea here is that once we send something, the problem is once we send something like an email or a text message or a voicemail, something instant like that, it's not easily or if possible to take it back. You can't take it back. I know there are programs you can reverse it and take it back. You know, there are people, we know this everywhere. We've had it in our own country where people have posted things on the internet, things which are wrong, things that they should never post. But they post them. And then maybe 10 minutes, 15 minutes later, they realize that they shouldn't have done that. So they go back on Facebook or X or some other platform and take it down. The problem is it's already on the internet. Thousands, if not tens of thousands of people have seen the post, and possibly even the police or the authorities have seen it. Whenever anything goes on the internet, it never goes off the internet. There's something called I think it's the Wayback Machine with archive.org. And I've done this a few times. I've looked back. I mean, we've had our website up since the 1990s, different formats, different companies have had the website with. And I can go back almost to the beginning, the first day of our existence on the internet, and see what I posted back then, to see what the website looked like. Things are not really gone from the internet. They're always there, and they can always be retrieved. Now, what am I talking about here? Am I giving you a lesson in the usage of the internet? No, but we should think about what we do. And the only way you can think about what you do is to, yes, sit back, take time out, think it through before you jump into that, before you jump into it. There needs to be reflection, but the reflection shouldn't be after the event, but before the event, to think it through so that we don't fall into any traps, or we reduce the problems that are out there. I mean, sometimes I'm on a forum and I have to be very careful about what I write, because some bright spark will use the words in a bad way. They'll make something carnal about it. So I make sure that my wording, I try as much as possible that my wording cannot be turned to mean something else. So you've got to think things through. You've got to think before you speak. I remember when I was a child, my dad, my stepfather, criticized me. Well, in fact, he did more than criticize me. He said to me, "Oh, you can never give a straightforward answer. You've always got to think before you give an answer." That, you know, a child a few doors down on the street, whenever you ask him a question, he's right there with a response. I think that's foolish. I've always believed it was foolish. And when I read in the Bible not to answer a matter before you've found out all the information, you're a fool. If you just speak all your mind. A fool speaks whatever in his mind. He doesn't think it through. So there is need for reflection. Many situations require pausing rather than reacting immediately. We are uncomfortable with pauses, with resting time. We're uncomfortable. I mean, as a speaker, you sometimes have that, what they call a pregnant pause, while you regather your thoughts, or you leave it so that people can think through what you're talking about. But mainly, or I should say, speakers are in the main are uncomfortable with pauses. We think we've got to keep on speaking all the time to keep people's attention. And that's not necessarily true. What if a pause is 1 second? What if it's 5 seconds or 10 seconds? Do the people in the church squirm? Sometimes they do, because they think that they would say the speaker isn't a very good one because he pauses too much. But taking time allows us to gather the facts and avoid unnecessary mistakes. Because we do speak, and we speak very quickly, and we speak what is on our minds, and then we're sorry about it later, aren't we? Doesn't happen so very often. So silence creates space for us to trust in God, who not often, but always wants to guide us, even in those quiet moments. Again, come ye apart and rest a while. Stillness helps sharpen the mind. It shapes a wiser response to a situation. It's more faithful in its final destination, what it wants to achieve. Some moments require quick action, emergencies and things like that. But there's a great benefit in slowing down. The discipline, be disciplined. You've got to force yourself to be disciplined. Take time out. Prayerful reflection leads to a clearer thinking and better decisions. We can't just jump in. We have to wait and think it through. Many problems, I believe, in our Christian lives would disappear if we took time out, if we paused. I don't mean time out from church. I don't mean time out from prayer or Bible study or anything like that. All those things are good. But time out during our day, or time out in a situation, or when you're talking to somebody and you don't know the answer, or you're uncomfortable in that situation, say to them, look, I'm going to think about that. Nothing wrong with that. I'll get back to you with my response. You shouldn't always do that, of course, but there are times when we simply must do it. Otherwise, we'll bring ourselves to embarrassment. Otherwise, it'll be shame upon us when it all goes very wrong. Take a pause. Listen to the voice of the Holy Spirit. And pray about it, of course. All those things, not necessarily in that order, but to pray things through. If you think holiness requires time, it requires intention on our part, or discipline, if you like, and the willingness. Holiness has got to have the part of being willing to slow down. We've got to take time out in all things in our Christian lives so that we give God the place, the time to minister to our hearts the true direction that he wants us to go in. William Longstaff wrote these words, a famous hymn. Take time to be holy. Be calm in thy soul. Each thought and each motive beneath his control. Thus led by his Spirit to fountains of love, thou soon shalt be fitted for service above.